Well, hello, glorious people. How are you doing today? I wasn't going to do a video, but I think this is an important subject to cover. Turn off my truck so you can hear me. I think that it is an important subject to cover. In the thumbnail on the video, I haven't made it yet, but I think it will be prepare for lockdown. And that appears what is happening from different sources here and there and everywhere. So if you're not where you need to be, you better get there now, because quarantines are happening. The infection rate is growing. It's around 180,000 now. So it took a big spike, and that spike is just going to keep getting bigger and bigger as more test kits come out in the USA. So the USA is going to add to this pandemic, and it really hasn't hit the African countries yet, or South America really, and it'll grow even more from there. But it looks like the big wigs are also panicking, and a lot of places have locked down a lot of state of emergencies, and I heard that the National Guard is getting called up. So prepare for a global lockdown to keep this virus from spreading. And that doesn't happen with the flu, people. I mean, this virus is many times, I heard, anywhere from 20 to 30 times more contagious than the flu. So, and that seems to be an obvious statistic, knowing the numbers, or how fast this thing spread, and the numbers that people have reported of getting this disease. And luckily, I mean, most people survive it, but from the information that I've seen, it's up to a 10% death rate, and that is horrendous, for a lack of a better word. So anyways, the information I have is prepare for a lockdown. So if you don't have what you need, you might want to get it now, if you can get it at this point. The stores are, as I said in the last video, in the mask video that I did, the last one, I believe it is a supply chain problem. I mean, China and other countries are not sending container ships over here anymore, and we rely heavily on imported products to keep us afloat. And just a month ago, they locked down the container ships from coming in, and they're not sending any more over. So what we're seeing is the last bits of the container ships. So they're starting to rationing. They're starting to ration the supplies coming into stores. And if you didn't hear the White House briefing, or the coronavirus briefing of yesterday, that the government has talked to certain food producers and companies about this situation. Is what that means. I think that they plan on a global lockdown, and only these food producers and food distributors are going to be open. And that includes the company that I'm contracted onto. So maybe I'll still have my job, but I don't see how they expect drivers to keep working and go to this shipper and that receiver and this receiver, exposing themselves when everybody's safe and sound in their own house, but yet they want us to go do what they're telling people not to do. And I know people need to be fed. I mean, that's one of the worries of the government, and that's why they're telling you not to panic, and that's why they're telling you that, oh, the stores are going to be stocked every week, is because they don't want to panic. The truth of the matter is, they'll get what they can to the stores every week, but we're running out of a lot of stuff. So, and it's going to end up we're only local producers, which is what the president was referring to. Local is what I mean by locally in the United States is what they're going to have bringing the American people the food that they need, because China has cut their supply chain off and several other countries. No ins or outs. So be expecting a lockdown, and be expecting the military to be involved. I think eventually you're either going to have police or military at these grocer distributors and even at the gas pumps. And remember what they said, that this could take a year to get over. So we may be locked down for a good while, up to a year. Now, I do believe that they will try to feed the people, because, I mean, if you don't feed the people, you're going to have a riot, right? If people don't eat. And they probably will soon after that, or right when they announce it, they will incur a curfew. And the United States has never been through anything like that before. And how many people do you think are going to obey that curfew? Certainly not drug addicts. Certainly not criminals. I mean, they're going to be out trying to get their fix, if you know what I mean. So if you have a means to defend yourself and your family, I highly recommend that you take the appropriate steps to be able to do that. But be expecting, I mean, hope for the best, but prepare for the worst. Or prepare for the worst, hope for the best. Whichever way you want to look at it. And just try to prepare as best you can, and say a lot of prayers, you know. If you don't know the Lord Jesus Christ, He died for your sins, was buried, and rose again the third day according to the scriptures. Because all you need to do is call on His name, ask Him to reveal Himself towards you, and you can be saved. You won't have any worries, because you'll be a saved child of God. You'll know where you're going, and I guarantee you He will reveal Himself to you. And prayer does much when you're a child of God. So, I mean, it says 10,000 will fall at your left hand and 10,000 will fall at your right hand. If you haven't read Psalms 91 and you need encouragement, I suggest that if you have a Bible, that you would read it. That's a very encouraging chapter in the Bible. And that's one hope that we can count on, is Jesus. We can't count on man to get things organized. I mean, they have different agendas. I'd like to think the best out of everybody, but different countries have different agendas. Different political organizations have different agendas, and they will fight tooth and nail for them. It doesn't matter how many people die. So I wish everybody good luck in these coming weeks and months. We'll see how long it lasts. I mean, hopefully it's just a hiccup, but I think that assumption or that hypothesis is a pretty good guess that it's going to take at least a year. I mean, we have to go through that curve, that elevation curve. If you haven't seen it, you know, the more tests that are given, the higher the spike is on the infected. And we're right at the bottom of the curve right now. As more tests come out, the higher that rate is going to go And eventually, yeah, after most people are infected, it'll start leveling off and coming down after people, unfortunately, I hate to say this, after a lot of them die and a lot of them become immune to it, you know, that curve will start coming down. But that's going to take a good while here in the U.S. We're really spread out. A lot of people haven't taken the test, but I'm glad the president did offer the test, or he said the tests are going to be free instead of us having to pay for them. So that's good. That'll encourage people that are sick to go get tested, because if you come down with pneumonia and the hospitals are full, I mean that's another thing we have to worry about. You know, the healthcare industry. That's why I've been doing these mask videos, to keep this disease, to desensitize people to wear a mask if they have them, to keep the healthcare industry operable, so that, you know, people that have heart attacks, people that have strokes, people that need surgeries can still get into the hospitals for those type of emergencies and get treated. You know, if we have, now they up the ante to, you know, they reported a couple weeks ago that, you know, 90,000 people would be infected. Now they upped it to 150,000 people, and it's going to be a lot more than that, guys, because this death rate, just the death rate on this disease is up to 10%. It's up to 10%. And we have 360 million people in this country. I mean, come on, you do the math. Even if you're conservative with the death rate, you know, 2% of 360 million, you know, 10% of 360 million is what, 30 million something, 40 million people. That's deaths. That's a lot of people, you know. So it's a lot of people. That's a lot of hospital beds. So our country doesn't have that many hospital beds, and I heard we don't have that many respirators. So hopefully they get those respirators manufactured, because people are going to need them if this disease attacks the lungs, and not to mention the regular flu or any other things that happen, car accidents where people need ventilators. I said respirators, I meant ventilators, you know, that they put down your throat so you can, you know, that helps you breathe in the hospital. And yeah, we just don't have enough. I mean, they're going to have to mass produce a lot more. A lot of people with pneumonia and people that suffer from car accidents, they're not going to be able to be treated, you know, to help them keep their breath while they are laying there, you know, in the hospital or outside the hospital. So hopefully we can catch up with the mask thing and ventilators and other stuff, but that's on down the road. What's coming next is a lockdown, I'm afraid, and if it doesn't, that's good. You know, I'm not trying to fearmonger anybody. This is just the word that's going around, and need to prepare yourselves. Get what you can while you can before they do a global lockdown and a national lockdown and start a curfew. Because then, when they do that, it's basically martial law. So you're going to see the police out, you're going to see the National Guard out, enforcing the rules. So things will change come that time. But I said this was going to be a short video, so I should cut it off. So anyways, guys, say some prayers, hope for the best, and prepare for the worst. And God bless all of you, and we'll see what happens. And we haven't even thought about I'll add a PS to it. We haven't even thought about what if it gets worse than this, and the water's cut off, you know, or we really do run out of food. And what if they cut the electricity off? What if they cut the internet off? You know, it goes along with electricity. And at times like these, that's when countries are weak, that's when their enemies attack. So keep that in mind. I'm not saying this to scare you. I just want you to be prepared. You know. And God bless all of you.